Hey guys, today I'm making a clean and simple Christmas card. For more information, head over to my blog CraftyEpicurean.com. This stamp set from Altenew called Engineer's Rule is going to be the main feature of this card that I use. I'm also use a sentiment from this stamp set. So I've gone ahead and I've masked a triangle to make out a Christmas tree outline on a piece of standard white cardstock, which I'm going to be using as my front note card. There's lots of little images in this Engineer's Rule stamp set, so you can see there's gears, safety, hard hats, clamps, drills, etc. All little engineering tools. I'm just going to arrange those small images inside the triangle that I've masked out on this note card. I do take a while to arrange these, so I'm going to speed up the video and increase the volume of the background music so it's not so boring for you. Alright, so I've got that all arranged. I'm now going to close the door on my stamping platform. I'm using a We Are Memory Keepers precision press today, and just press down firmly to grab all those little stamps on the door. And this measuring tape didn't want to quite attach to the door, so I just gently lift it up and replace it where it's meant to be. And I just make sure those are firmly stuck down on the door of the stamping press. I'm going to be using this ink from Gina K Designs. It's amalgam ink and the colour is jet black. So just inking those stamps up. You can see this ink pad is really lovely and inks up those stamps quite nicely. It gives a very pure and bright black. So I'm just making sure I get ink on all of those little stamps before closing the door on my stamping platform. I press down, make sure to try and get a good impression. I lift it up and see that it hasn't quite worked, so I press down a little bit harder. Some people like to rub their sleeve on it as well, which can work. But that's got most of those images stamped well. Just going to go ahead and press down again. Try and get a bit more ink, a bit of a clearer image on those stamps. And I see that 3 of the stamps, the measuring tape, the spanner or crescent, and the safety glasses in particular, are not stamping too well. So I try and re-ink my stamps anyway and repress. This is the advantage of using a stamping platform. You can just easily re-ink and you know it's going to make a good stamp exactly on top of what you've previously stamped. But still those 3 images aren't popping up, so I'm thinking that perhaps the other stamps are holding those 3 stamps, they're just slightly thicker. So what I'm going to do now is use a baby wipe to clean up the stamps that I am happy with, that have made a very good impression, and remove them from the stamping platform and just leave those 3 smaller stamps that haven't quite stamped so well on the door of the precision press. And I'm just going to re-ink those 3 little stamps and stamp those on their own. And you'll see shortly when I lift the door that has done the trick, and now all of those stamps of my Christmas tree have made a good impression. So again, I've grabbed the baby wipe and I'm just cleaning up those stamps. remove them from the door of my stamping platform. And I wasn't too happy with the white space between the images, so I've got the small screw that's come in that engineer's rule stamp set, and I've put it onto a small acrylic block, and I've decided I'm just going to quickly dab some ink on the Gina K Designs amalgam ink pad, and just randomly rotate the stamp and fill in the gaps. And you'll see that each time I'm re-inking this little stamp after each stamping, to make sure that there's enough ink on the stamp and that I make a good impression. It is quite neat that the stamp set comes with such a small image, and the detail on that little screw is quite impressive. You can see the actual little grooves of the screw itself on such a tiny stamp. It's pretty cool. Rightio, so that's the last little screw I'm going to add to this, and I'm quite happy with how that's filled in. Now I'm just going to outline the triangle which makes up the outline of the tree with a black ink pen. This is a 0.7mm ink pen, just in black. And I decided going against the masking tape isn't quite working out for me, so I decided to bring in a ruler so that I get a nice straight edge. Now I was going to repeat that on the bottom or on the rest of the outline of this tree, but I decided that wasn't really working for me and that I would remove the masking tape first and then come in with my ruler to do those lines. And you'll see I actually ripped the paper when I removed the masking tape, but I will fix that later on when I come to attach it to the card base. So here I'm bringing back the ruler and my ink pen to do a dotted line to outline the tree and give it some definition. I'm now bringing in the stamp set with the sentiment I'm going to use, so I'm just going to use that big Merry Christmas that was at the top, and I'm going to put it below the triangle, which is, and the shape of the sentiment means it's going to look like the stump of the tree, so that was quite convenient really. Bringing back my stamping platform, my We Are Memory Keepers precision press, putting my note card on the front and using some masking tape to hold it down to the stamping platform. Now I'm going to bring in the sentiment stamp and position it where I want it before closing the door on my stamping platform to pick up the stamp. Giving it a good rub to make sure the door grabs that stamp really well. I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Cherry Cobbler Red ink to stamp the sentiment today. Now unfortunately the battery on my camera did go a little bit flat, so you don't actually see me stamping this, but I managed to get my phone out to do the rest of this video. So here it is with the sentiment stamped on and the front note card all finished. And here I've just mounted it on a navy blue card base using double-sided tape. For more information, head over to my blog craftyepicurean.com. And thank you for watching.